Hello everyone, welcome to the next video of my series where I'm showing off some CLI tools that I use, how I use them, and how you can configure them. In today's video we're going to talk about Zoxide. Zoxide, I'm not quite sure how it's pronounced, I just call it Zoxide, Zoxide. And what is Zoxide? Well, it's a tool that basically replaces CD. So typically, we use CD to change directory, and I was pretty happy with CD as a way to change directory until I came across Zoxide, and it's really changed my workflow, and it has me navigating on the shell or my terminal a lot faster and a lot more efficient, and we'll take a look at that now. So this is how I look at myself. So this is how I look at myself before I discovered Zoxide. Bit of a caveman, bit of like navigating and not even realizing what I was missing out on. So if we take a look, we're going to just use CD and navigate as we normally would, CD into our dot files, and then we can leave and CD into another directory, and you'll maybe need to do pwd, present working directory, and figure out where you are, etc., etc. And it's fine, it works. It's absolutely, it's a fine workflow. Once you discover Zoxide, you'll feel a bit more like this, maybe still like a caveman, but like caveman lawyer, so a little bit smarter now. And if we take a look at a demo, all of a sudden you see we can use the Z command, and so we can do something like Z dot, and it will take us to what it thinks is the directory we want to go to. And so it has this algorithm, which we'll talk about a little bit later. And it says, okay, Z dot, the closest I have is dot files. Same second brain. I don't have to go to the exact directory. It just finds what it thinks is the best match. Same with opti. It thinks I want to go optinix because that's a folder I go to very often. So it takes me straight to optinix. One cool thing we can do is it also integrates with another cool tool called FZF, which is like a fuzzy search find tool, which we'll do a video about, or I'll do a video about soonish. And so we can do ZI, and we can actually, if we can't remember exactly the folder name, we can search through the folders like that, and it'll take us to that folder. And I find myself using ZI quite often because I can't maybe remember exactly where I want to go. But once I see that folder, I'm like, yeah, that's where I want to go. We can also do Z followed by, let's say, dot and then space tab, and it will show us the FZF, kind of that open up that pop-up, that fuzzy search, but only for folders matching that dot. So it's kind of already pre-filtering for us. So if we vaguely remember, but maybe there's two places you have dot files, and you're not sure exactly where Zoxide is going to take you, Zoxide, however you want to say it. So that's pretty cool. So those are some of the more quote-unquote advanced features of Zoxide. We can also do stuff like we can have space between words. So we can do local share save, and it will try and match that as best as it can, even if there's stuff in between. So yeah. And because this is one of my videos, I'm going to briefly show you how I've configured it in Nix. This is really straightforward, similar to how I configured Atween. I've got a bit more complicated than you might need to, because I have my modules set up so that I can turn them off and on depending on the system if I want it. I almost always have Zoxide enabled anyways, but you can see it's really simple. I've just enabled it, and I've enabled the fish shell integration because I use fish shell. These options are coming from a tool called Home Manager, which is used for managing stuff in your own home directory. So it's like kind of built on top of Nix. I will definitely do a video about Home Manager because I use Home Manager a lot. And I think Home Manager is great even on like non-Nix systems. So I use Home Manager a lot on my Ubuntu work laptop to configure lots of parts of that, so I can share config between my work machine and my personal machine. If you want to know how you can find out where these options are for Home Manager, there's this site here, and you can search and find all these options. So if we look for Zoxide, we can see all the various options you can configure. You can go look at the source and various other things. Also, just a bit of a plug, I'm going to show off this CLI tool I built called optinix, so you can also do it in the CLI. I've got this FZF search version if you want, or you can use the TUI like I'm showing here, and you can just search through that. Definitely will work on improving it, but if you want to search on the CLI, you can also use that. There's various other tools as well for searching, such as Manix. Manix is another one, searching on the CLI, that is. The final thing I want to briefly show you is in my fish shell, I've set up some abbreviations, so they're similar to aliases, but as soon as you finish typing out, it turns into that command. So in this case, I've turned on an abbreviation. So when I type in CD, it becomes Z, because Z is typically harder for you to reach. In terms of, you need to hit with your pinky, which is not as strong. So you want to try and, especially changing directories, do that semi-often. So I want to set it to characters. One that I already have muscle memory for, CD, and also a lot easier to hit with your more powerful quote-unquote fingers, rather than needing to rely on your pinky to do that if you're touch typing. So yeah, I do CD and then CDI for ZI.